gonna cook eggs in 50 different ways, such as using a flamethrower, the dishwasher, and even hot molten glass. Real quick, if you're watching this right now, go subscribe so we can catch Gordon. We'll start out simple with soft-boiled eggs.
For soft-boiled, we'll go for about 6 minutes.
A few minutes later, if we crack open our egg, we should have a beautifully soft-boiled egg here. And if we cut it open, it should be a perfectly soft, gooey, and runny egg. This is how I test if an egg is boiled. If it stands up, it should be good.
For hard-boiled eggs, we're gonna keep the same eggs for a little bit longer.
By the way, these egg experiments are gonna get crazier and crazier throughout the video.
That's a terrible joke. That's not funny. It's not funny. Anything with egg is not funny. For soft scrambled, we're gonna be using an ostrich egg. This right here is equivalent to 24 normal chicken eggs.
To open it up, I'll crack into it with this machete. Damn, that didn't even make a dent.
Finally. Once we've opened it up, we'll go ahead and pour it into our pan.
Oh, wow. Whoa. That's insane.
That's really cool.
Now we'll whip out our inner Gordon Ramsay and make some delicious soft scrambled eggs.
As you can see now, this is soft scrambled. It is cooked through, but still slightly runny on the surface.
But if we keep the heat going and continue on, very quickly the egg should start to become more opaque. And just a few moments later, we have hard scrambled eggs. But I'm a soft scrambled guy through and through.
You are a softie. We're moving on to over easy, one of my favorite ways to make eggs. In goes my egg. While the surface is still runny, we're just gonna give it a quick little flip. Here's our over easy.
Over medium is the same thing. We're just gonna take it a little bit longer. Another nice flip, and that egg is done.
And last but not least, we have our over hard egg.
Our over easy egg should be nice and runny and pop. Over medium should be right in the middle. And frankly, over hard is like ordering a well-done steak, but we're not here to judge.
On to the next, we got sunny side up eggs. Everyone should be able to make this, other than Nick.
You know, I can edit that out, right?
Other than Nick. Medium low heat, just crack in your egg, and then we shut it up with the lid to cook off the surface.
And about 2 minutes later, our sunny side egg up is complete. It should have a nice runny yolk.
Next, we got one of my favorite breakfast items, the omelet.
We'll whisk up our eggs,
Then pour out a nice thin layer on the bottom of your pan.
and once our egg is mostly cooked through, I'll add some melty cheese to one side, then fold it up and over.
And that right there is a beautiful, cheesy omelet.
I make a lot of poached eggs given how much I love Eggs Benedict, so this one here is second nature to me. That's an egg-sided egg.
You gotta stop with that.
We're starting to kick things up a notch with this Wagyu tartare, on which we're gonna do a raw egg. This right here is a Hokkaido A5 Wagyu strip loin steak. I'll mince it up into nice small bits for our tartare, making sure that it's small and uniform throughout. Once my meat is properly minced, I'll press it into this mold, and soon will come our egg. But not just any regular egg. With such a fancy tartare like this, I'm gonna use the yolk from a quail egg. I'll place my egg on top, and after we pop it, this steak tartare is ready to eat. In this next method, we're gonna bake the eggs. It's also called a shirred egg. I particularly love this method because my grandma used to make these for us all the time when we were kids.
We'll finish these off with a little salt and pepper, and into the oven they go at 350. And just after a couple minutes, we have a beautiful baked egg. That's fire.
That's so good.
That's so good.
Everybody must learn how to make a good hollandaise sauce. We simply whisk up a few yolks over a double boiler, this mechanism right here,
And then we slowly start to toss in some cold butter. Keep an eye on them because you don't want the eggs to scramble.
and we're left with a silky smooth hollandaise sauce.
Next up, we have a message from Linja.
Nick, I got a hold of a live chicken. Do you want me to shake you some eggs out?
I think she's starting to lose it. Moving on, Manny brought in some of his famous deviled eggs. Fair warning, I have never tried these.
I can't eat these.
Manny, to confirm, you make these every morning?
Every morning.
You're actually really good.
I told you.
Manny, these are a 10 out of 10.
Moving on, we have frittata and quiche. A frittata is Italian like Nick, and a quiche is French. The quiche has a crust, the frittata doesn't.
We're moving on to a relatively common method, sous vide. This is gonna cook at exactly 194 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 minutes.
We're gonna pull one out, and in theory, this should be a perfectly soft boiled egg. It's actually perfectly cooked.
Next up, we'll make an egg souffle. I'll go into a bowl with just a couple eggs, then add in a bit of cream, a tablespoon of melted butter, and any seasonings of your choice. Whisk this until well combined, spray your ramekin, fill it up with the egg mixture, and top it off with a slice of cheese. It's been about 15 minutes, and this right here is why I love making egg souffles. And you can tell this one right here is perfect because it shot straight up and out of our ramekin. But when I dig in, it should be very light and fluffy, almost like a sponge. Perfection.
We may have pulled off a souffle, but Nick and I can't do the next two.
We'll let the pros handle Japanese omurice.
Oh, and we don't know how to make a tornado egg either.
We're moving on to one of these fun little rapid egg cookers. With this, I can't quite tell if it's a gimmick or if it's actually gonna work. We pour a little bit of water into the bottom, then put on the lid, and then
We wait. That means it's ready. Looks fully cooked.
question is it gonna be the perfect egg it promised? I think yes. We're moving on to a coddled egg, which I've actually never done before, but we had to buy this special little egg coddler to do it. Very simply, we'll toss on the lid and secure it with this rubber band, and into some boiling water it goes. Our coddled egg looks to be complete, and if you look in there, it almost looks like the perfect soft to medium boiled egg. If you haven't heard of egg in a hole, you'll know after this. Punch a hole out of a piece of bread. We'll save this for later. Then into a pan with some oil and down goes our bread. Once our oil begins to sizzle, we'll crack in our egg, and our egg should cook and adhere to the bread. Keep in mind this is different from a toad in a hole, which is a delicious English dish that I highly recommend you try. About halfway through, we'll flip, and there it is, the perfect egg in a hole. Next up, salt cured, but I've done this one before. It gives that amazing creamy umami blast that I absolutely love.
Over here we have a Himalayan salt block, and Nick is gonna toss it in the oven until it's 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
All right, it's so hot. Onto our salt rock, we'll crack one egg. I think that's the most perfect egg of the entire day. But the question is, can we actually flip these and make them look nice? We had to bring in the big guns to flip the egg. Good looking eggs. If you've ever had a foamy cocktail, it was probably egg white in the cocktail foam. I'll add my egg white to a cocktail shaker and shake it up till foamy. Once nice and foamy, I should be able to layer this out on the top of my beautiful drink here, which is my personal favorite, some plain old cranberry juice. Cheers. If you've ever had a baked Alaska or a lemon meringue pie, you've seen an egg in meringue form. To make a meringue, we simply separate out the yolks from the whites. You can use the shells or your hands to separate. Then I'll add in some cream of tartar and whip it all up. Once we've achieved stiff peaks, our meringue is done. And with the addition of some sugar, you can go ahead and toast it just like that. But we can take things a step further, moving us on to our next experiment, the cloud egg. If I lay down some of my meringue in a nice tall heap like this, then drop my yolk right into the center, we can bake this to make what's called a cloud egg. Once our cloud egg is done, it should look something like this. I will say, I always thought this trend was pretty silly. Something about this just feels so wrong, but it tastes so right.
Next up, century eggs.
These 1,000-year-old eggs are preserved, and actually a delicacy in China, but the look of them can scare some people off. Don't be fooled, they're perfectly safe to eat. For this next method, we're gonna cook eggs in a microwave in several different ways. If you've seen any of our previous egg experiments in a microwave, they've gone terribly wrong. So hopefully today's different.
First up, we cracked an egg on a plate, and into the microwave we go.
Sounds like this might be working. That is the weirdest looking yolk I've ever seen. Now we'll try to hard boil these whole eggs in the microwave.
I don't like you right now.
What makes me nervous is that one of them already exploded.
Oh shoot, I thought that was a joke. I thought you were messing with me. Oh, it smells terrible.
The real issue with microwaving hard-boiled eggs is you don't know whether they're gonna be perfectly cooked or explode. They say you can make a poached egg in the microwave. Into a mug or ramekin with a 1/4 cup of water. This goes into the microwave for 1 minute. Once the water's warm, I'll crack in my egg, then it goes back into the microwave for about 35 more seconds. Upon doing some further research, the yolk can actually explode in the microwave. We're gonna try this one more time. But first, I'll gently pierce the yolk so it doesn't explode this time, still keeping it intact. Pour out that excess water, then onto a plate goes my perfectly poached egg. I have poached eggs in so many ways, and this right here is the most perfect poached egg I think I have ever made. And I'm not just saying that, this is perfect. 10 out of 10. I don't like scrambled eggs, but I like the sound of making them in a microwave. I'll go into a bowl with a few eggs. If you're watching this video, I hope at some point you do go and learn the one-handed egg crack. Then I'll cover them with just a bit of cream and a light sprinkle of salt. I'll mix up these eggs until well combined, and once they're silky smooth, I'll go into the microwave for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, I'll go ahead and mix these eggs around a little bit, then back into the microwave again for another 30 seconds. I'll repeat this process several more times until they're properly scrambled. This will vary based on your microwave. They look light and fluffy, and they taste actually not bad. But this method took way longer than it takes to make normal scrambled eggs on the stovetop, so I would never do this. Next up, in a breakfast sandwich maker.
First a slice of bread, then cheese. We're gonna close down 1/2.
Then crack in our 1 egg, then another slice of cheese.
Close the entire contraption.
To finish this up, we're supposed to be able to slide this piece out. Then we open the lid, and this should reveal our breakfast sandwich.
And it looks pretty good.
I don't think it looks that good.
I don't care what Nick says, this actually looks good. That's not bad.
Bonus points if you've ever heard of this one, the egg hopper. It's a Sri Lankan dish that's essentially a nested egg in a coconut milk and rice-based crispy crepe. I'll be honest, we tested this one several times, and given how it turned out, I think the only way we're gonna be getting an egg hopper is by traveling straight to Sri Lanka. If you've never seen anyone deep fry an egg, you're about to now. I'm gonna do this small, controlled experiment in a glass pot so you can see exactly what's happening once we drop it in. Our oil's at the proper temp, and it's time to fry. I'm gonna keep this simple and crack the egg right in. Whoa. This was only 1 egg that we fried, and it made all these really cool little patterns in the oil. Still, I'll probably never do this again. Butter poaching is expensive, which is why it's more often reserved for fancy meats. But I'm gonna try it with an egg anyways. For all we know, it'll make the best tasting egg I've ever had. Once my entire pan is filled with butter, I'll drop in my egg, and then I'll gently baste it with butter as we let it cook through. This only took a few moments, and onto a plate it goes. Of all the eggs we've cooked today, this one has to be the most perfect. I love this method.
This device just scrambles the egg in its own shell. I'm gonna lock it in place place, put the lid on, and then we just let it rip. Then we're gonna treat it like any other egg and drop it into some boiling water. Hopefully it looks fully scrambled when you crack it open. Here goes nothing. Oh, that's actually really cool.
Just looks so perfect.
Next up, we're using this rolled egg machine. Things are definitely getting crazier. Generously oil this down and then just crack in one egg.
It's rising. It's rising.
This is actually so sick.
It's rising up. Oh my God. It's like an egg popsicle.
That's actually so cool.
If you're ever stuck in a hotel room and need to make some eggs in a coffee maker, we're gonna test it out right now for you to see whether or not it actually works. Coming right up, some freshly brewed eggs.
A coffee cycle later, let's see if they're actually cooked.
It worked. Hard-boiled egg in a coffee machine. If you've never made an egg waffle before, I think you're gonna wanna try after this. Oh, I'll close it down and let it cook. Oh, wow. That is a beautiful waffle egg.
The one I'm most curious about is the rice cooker.
In go our 3 eggs.
And then we'll just cover that with water.
And we'll set it off on a normal rice cycle.
Ooh. That's terrible.
So basically, we're just boiling eggs inside a rice cooker at this point.
Let's see how good it came out. A little overcooked, but not bad. It worked.
I've become a big fan of the good old air fryer, but let's see if it can hard boil eggs. We'll set it at 250 degrees Fahrenheit for about 13 minutes. If this works in the air fryer, I'm gonna be pretty excited given how easy it is to just pop open an air fryer and use it. This feels like a perfect egg. Let's break into it. That's a perfect hard boiled egg.
That really is. Up next, we got freeze-dried eggs. These are freeze-dried eggs with butter flavor on them, and I think they eat these on Mars. We pour it out like it's cereal. Yeah, it tastes like cheddar popcorn.
This is one of the experiments I'm most excited for today, cooking eggs in the dishwasher. Now that our dishwasher cycle is done, it's promising that none of the eggs broke, but the question is, are they even cooked? That was a 56-minute cycle, so it's definitely a longer time to cook an egg than I've ever cooked one. It's a little on the underside, but it looks like a perfectly poached egg, and when I cut into it, it should give that perfect runny yolk. I might start using the dishwasher to make my eggs for Eggs Benedict. It's time to try to cook an egg with a laser pointer. I do need to put on these safety glasses because I can't look directly at this laser without some eye protection. This is powerful enough that it will easily start a fire if I point it at something flammable for long enough. Manny, are you flammable?
No.
So to do this, I'll simply crack my egg into a small little bowl, and it's time to use the laser. It's taking me way too long to actually cook the egg, but to prove to you that the laser's working, I made a cute little face on the egg.
We're coming to the end, and up next, we got a flamethrower. Let's see if we could actually cook this. Say hello to my little friend.
The egg actually looks like it's starting to cook through, and I have a feeling we're gonna end up with a perfectly sunny side up egg right now. This whole process only took us about a minute, and the egg looks cooked, but it's actually pretty discolored. And it's a little bit on the raw side. Before moving on to cooking eggs on hot molten glass, we're gonna move on to one of the coolest cooking methods out there, cryogenic cooking. This dry ice is negative 109 degrees Fahrenheit. So theoretically, when we crack an egg onto it, it should be so cold that the egg should literally cook to the point that it's edible. After a couple minutes, let's see if they're actually cooked through. Yeah, I don't think that's going anywhere. I do think you can probably tell by just looking at that yolk that it is technically cooked through. This is the whole egg right here.
That's really cool.
We'll be cooking our 50th and final egg on hot molten glass.
Oh, perfect!
That is crazy. Let's see if he can flip it. Looks good.
Yeah, very appetizing.
We may have finished our 50 eggs, but I've actually saved the best for last. Bonus egg number 51. Let me tell you, you are not gonna wanna miss that one.
And for bonus number 51, we're actually gonna be cooking these eggs in a glass dome.
This glass dome on top of the eggs should cook them given how hot it is. Wow, that is cool. That's cooking way faster than I thought it was gonna cook. Let's lift it up and take a look. Wow. I think this just made the most perfect eggs I've ever seen. Oh, look at that. This thing is just crazy.
Nick, hear me out for a second.
Absolutely not. Get out, you're fired.